The Roman poet Juvenal had a phrase which translated to "who watches the watchman?" And we've adapted that phrase, "who watches the watchman," to a sort of political idea of how do we keep an eye on the people that maybe are meant to be keeping an eye on us, or we put in power above us. You know, who decides who has that power? I'm walking in a park right now, and there are people everywhere, eyes on me from there, squirrels watching me, birds watching me. And just above me, there are cameras watching me, CCTV cameras. And there are a few in this park. There's one just ahead, there's one over there, there's one down by the school there. They're everywhere. We are one of the most surveyed nations on earth. I think the number is that every time you go out in a day, the average is that you're seen on camera at least 300 times a day. So we're used to being watched. But who's watching the people watching us? Right now, there's a guy sat in a control room. He's probably looking at this strange little guy walking along, holding his camera up to his face. And it may register as something, it may not. But there's the thing. We live in that era. When Juvenal said, "who watches the watchman?" he's asking, you know, who accounts for the power? Who keeps the powerful in check? Alan Moore and Dave Gibbons wrote a book called Watchmen, in which they explore a world, kind of authoritarian world, where superheroes have gone bad. And that was the first of a kind of long line of dystopian books about this idea. There's a television series at the moment called The Boys, in which it's very much our world on camera, in which a world in which there are superheroes, but those superheroes are out to get social media likes. They're out to meet trends. They're concerned with their image and with their branding. And it kind of hits home. And they're all bad uns in this series. And the boys themselves are perhaps the people who are out there trying to watch the watchman. That might be the way of putting it. Michel Foucault is the theorist that best sort of goes with this idea. He explored the idea of punishment and discipline a lot in his works. The idea of what prison would be. And in particular, he explores the type of prison that Jeremy Bentham, an English philosopher in the Enlightenment, designed. And this is a prison called the Panopticon. And in the Panopticon, none of the cells have doors. They're always just open. And it's a cylindrical building. And in the middle of that cylindrical building is a watchtower. And the prisoners can never see into the watchtower. So they never know when they're being watched. So they assume that they are always being watched. So it's a kind of psychological imprisonment as much as anything else. And Foucault makes the point that the society we're living in today, when he was writing at the time he was writing, and he's kind of looking at what we're doing today, he's talking about the fact that maybe we are living in the Panopticon, in which we give power for people to watch us, like the cameras that are watching over all of us at the moment. And, you know, if we've not done anything wrong, we've not got anything to worry about, is what they would say. Well, there's something about that surveyed state that's quite interesting. It's an interesting moment in time, because we're living through probably one of the greatest ages of cronyism and corruption in our world governments as we've ever known. And people are just getting away with more and more corruption. But no one's taking these people to account, because everyone thinks, well, that's a small problem considered against the other problems that we've got in the world. I do wonder how Foucault might have responded to that. It's interesting the way that The Boys, this television series, is responding to that.